Right, we have an email, another email with a question, and it's a great one. Do you want to hear it first?
Yeah, definitely.
From Roy Beckerman. Says, hi folks, how about doing an episode on superhero movie theme songs? Personal favourite, Danny Elfman's Spider-Man. Great question.
Great tune.
Let's pick our favourite superhero theme tunes.
Yeah, so first up, I think a lot of people might like this one quite a bit. It is the original it's the early 90s X-Men cartoon, written by Ron Wasserman, and for me this was my childhood, so let's hear a little bit.
What is it about that one that you like?
I think it's one, it's great, and it's also, we played a bit of it there with the actual opening intro, because the two go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And it almost, I think it's a Pavlovian reaction. Like, I hear that and I just think superheroes. I think Marvel, and I go, I know I'm gonna have a good time. It's Saturday mornings. It's the day after school finishes, and it's just all of that connected, and being like little and just loving that, being like 6, 7, 8, and like just having that reaction in me. And it's also a really good tune, but yeah, it takes me back to that time instantly.
I think intros and outros are playing a big part in our choices. So yeah, we're doing 3 each. My first one, I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm going to start singing it. Join in if you know it, Dan. Batman, the original TV show. I know I talk about it a lot on this on the superhero show, but I do love it. And in fact, all my choices are from my childhood. But this one, kind of like your X-Men one, it just makes me think of tea time, or it makes me think of summer holidays when it would play on the TV during the day. And it's such an iconic theme tune. As soon as everyone knows it, everyone sings it. There were good school ground versions of it. I remember Fat Man.
That's great parody.
Yeah.
As someone who grew up as an overweight child, I am quite acquainted with that variation of the theme tune.
Flat Man, or lots of them. But yeah, it is Batman. I don't think there's been a million great. There's been lots of great Batman theme tunes since, but this is the one that I think of when someone says Batman.
Nice, it's really good. So I'm going to go away from Tea Time Telly and go into the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the next one. So that's Thor Kills the Destroyer. Now, I've actually got a bit of a soft spot for Thor, but what I like about that is Patrick Doyle's score for Kenneth Branagh's movie. They've collaborated on lots of Shakespearean adaptation. And something about that music, because we say a lot of the Marvel themes are quite forgettable, and I don't think we've got any more in this list, actually. And I think there's been some good ones, but this really stands out because it's really stirring. It's used brilliantly in this scene when you think Thor has died and he accepts the inheritance. And there's a real pomp and circumstance to it. And I don't know, it has a gravitas about it that reminds me, because I did GCSE, I did A-level English literature, and I did it at university, so I had to watch all the Kenneth Branagh adaptations, and the music's kind of consistent with them, where it's really kind of magisterial, uses full orchestra, and it's almost like you wouldn't really associate it with a superhero movie. No. And it's when he like rightfully accepts his inheritance as the rightful chosen son of Odin. And it just really works, and I really like it. It makes my arms goosebump.
Good choice.
Yeah.
My next one, I'm going to do what I did last time. I'm just going to start doing the intro and see if Rich can seamlessly meld them. So it's going to go do 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 do. Flash Gordon, written by Brian May, if I'm correct in my thinking, because I interviewed him years ago and we did talk about Flash Gordon.
Oh, if I'm correct,
but was it him on his own? But was it him on his own, or was it with the rest of them? I think it was him on his own. And I should have done my research on this. I vaguely remember him saying that Dino De Laurentiis, who produced it, really didn't want them using that music in the movie. And what a mistake that would have been, because it goes hand in hand with Flash Gordon, which I've said before on this show, I think it's one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. It's the truest to kind of the comic book form, I think. The colours and the brightness and the fun of it all. And it's Queen, man. It's just a great rock song. It's heroic.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to do another inspirational one. We've already had one Batman. Here's another Batman. So that's Molossus, which isn't the nicest or easiest title to say, which is a genus of bat, and it's Hans Zimmer's track. It's kind of the big hero theme from Batman Begins, and variations are used throughout the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
But this is the one I always go back to, and it's so good. It's that kind of enveloping percussion. It's the relentless drums, it's the strings, and every time I listen to it, I think it's the perfect sonic representation of Batman as a character, because it feels like everything's closing in around you, like there's this oppressive city. But at the same time, the drums to me also signify him. It's just relentless, he's not going to stop, and throughout all that, this heroic strain occasionally escapes, where...
So it's a better representation than...
Both have depth. I'm not going to deny that.
And it kind of changed music in the movies, I think. It's been such an influence, Hans Zimmer's work in the Batman films, on not only movie scores, but trailer scores. You hardly hear a trailer that doesn't go for that now, of a big blockbuster. It's become such kind of a calling, like a, I don't know...
It's just a fixture now of what they do with
like
trailers.
A trademark kind of.
But he does. That's the backbone. That's Batman in the Nolan movies. But he does, because when I was going through loads of soundtracks this morning from them, because I was like, I almost went for the one they use at the end of The Dark Knight, which is a more melancholic variation of it when he escapes and becomes the villain that Gotham needs him to be, becomes the Dark Knight, and. It's something about it that it works really well for that character. It's just relentless because it never stops.
No.
It's a tune that has no natural endpoint. It's like the Halloween theme, which is in 5/4. It just keeps on going.
Yeah.
Batman will never end.
Like a Philip Glass piece kind of thing. But it builds and builds.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
I would love to have gone for a Zimmer, but I didn't. I went for a Williams. John Williams. Crack it out, Rich. Okay, so that was John Williams' theme from the Superman the movie, which is the greatest. I think we can agree on the fact that it is the most memorable, iconic. It's weird that more superhero movies, I think, haven't tried to emulate the kind of grandiose nature of that theme tune. You know, it came out a year after Star Wars, and I just think of them side by side, those two incredible theme tunes. That
it's not easy to do a Williams.
You can't imagine the movie without it. I can't. It's hard to imagine Superman without it. Certainly, Bryan Singer couldn't, because he used it for his Superman movie. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ever been bettered, and I'd love to hear a theme tune that comes close.
It just has that power. Just when you hear the trumpet and it builds, it's
magical.
Yeah, there's a lot of Williams music like the Jurassic Park stuff, like Star Wars. You can't imagine without. You can't imagine Superman. And the Man of Steel, like Hans Zimmer got that gig. I actually don't mind the music, but could I hum it for you?
No.
I couldn't do that.
I actually really like his score for Man of Steel, but as you say, this is a theme tune, really, isn't it? It's not a score, it's just friggin'...
So hopeful.
Oh, I want to hear it again. Yeah, but I mean, the point is, I was only given 3 choices, you only let me pick 3.
That's the format.
I know, but I had a 4th that was really special to me. It's a really beautiful piece of music from a TV show. I'm never going to play it to the people, and it just makes me really sad. It makes me feel like I need to leave this superhero show and move on to another superhero show to find my calling. So, on that bombshell.
See you next week.
You're like, Rich.
Just like, what? Put that in. Definitely put that in at the end as an Easter egg.